Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Indie Wednesday show. And hello, Chris Hooley.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing? All right?
I'm very good, thank you. You?
Yeah, not too bad at all. I'm loving the fact it's Wednesday, halfway through the week, and when that introduction video was on, about 3 people joined and left. So, really good impression to start the show off. It's nice to be here, and I'm glad you guys are tuning in already. As always, please, if you can like this, share it around on Twitter before we even get going so people get the chance to be engaged with this. And of course, this is live, send your questions in to us. We have a guest coming on with us today, a slightly different routine than normal, but I think you'll enjoy it. So please send those questions in and engage with us there. Just before we do start again, as always, we'll do our beer token appreciation. And this he's always jumping the gun there, Chris. Always jumping the gun. This week, it is someone we've had on the show before, and it is E.G. Radcliffe. So, her book, the latest it's the second book in the series, The Last Prince, is 4.7 out of 5 after 20 ratings, and is available on Kindle and on paperback. And it is the second book of their Coming of Age, AED series. The Hidden King, which is the first book in this series, had 4.3 out of 5 after 100 reviews, which is a fantasy series. And okay, Chris, I will put your mind at ease here, and I will pop in a second the cover of The Last Prince up in the top corner. So please, as always, support the authors that support the show. There was a review there that said, wow, E.G. Radcliffe has gone and done it again. I just love his storytelling. It's so rich and immersive, and I was immediately hooked. I could almost smell the maze and see the scenery before me as I read. Fantastic review, so well done.
That is a great review, and do you know what's great about that as well? When we first...
Did you write it?
No, I didn't write that. But when we first got E.G. Radcliffe on, her first book, The Hidden King, had about 4 or 5 reviews. So the fact that it's got 100 now, and The Last Prince is up to 20 odd, that is phenomenal. And it just shows that our fingers on the pulse in that respect.
Yeah. So thank you very much, E.G. Radcliffe. And so Chris, do you want to speak to a guest on a Wednesday show?
Ooh, we've never done that before.
Well, we have. But
not on a Wednesday
format.
Live in this format.
Yeah, not in this format. Let's bring it on. I'll just pop the cover up on screen so you guys can see the book. Or shall I wait for... No, I'll wait for the guest to come on and we can show the cover. Welcome, everybody. Catherine, and she is the author of The Lie She Told. Hello, Catherine. I want to say Catherine Yaffe. Is that right?
It is, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yes.
Good, got it right first time.
That's unusual.
How are you doing?
I'm really good, guys. Thank you. How are you?
We're doing all right. And as I mentioned just before we came on here, it looks like you're doing your recording from your shed, your crime scene shed, which is a dream of ours to get our own beer shed on the go. But we're a long way off that.
Oh, this is only here because I had to have a garage taken down that was full of asbestos. And I decided that I wasn't going to have another garage because who uses them? So I had a garden shed built. It's called the Shed of Words. Look, that's what it's been christened.
Other side.
I'm useless at this. There you go.
It's definitely a safer option, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think garages are generally used for storing stuff rather than using for cars anyway. So excellent. So whereabouts in the world are you, Catherine?
Well, I'm actually in Wakefield, and I believe one of you is in Wakefield. Is that right?
No, unless Chris has gone there. Unless Chris has gone there without telling us. Not
at all. No, I'm from South Wales, and Chris is from Manchester. So.
Oh, okay. I will let you off. You're on the wrong side of border, but it's fine.
Amazing. So, if you just very briefly let us know about your book that has been released, and just so some people that are listening, if they haven't heard what it is, just a brief overview of what that book is, please.
Yep. Okay. So here she is. It's The Lie She Told. Oh, terrible. That's the editing bits. It's The Lie She Told. It's a contemporary crime thriller set in the Highlands of Scotland. It's about a young lady called Kate who has to escape her surroundings to under the witness protection scheme, and somebody from her past catches up with her while she's there, and he has an ulterior motive for being there. And throughout the story, she has to hold on to the lie that she told that took her to that place in the first instance. And there's lots of twists and turns. It's doing really well on reviews. It's got like 54/5-star reviews across Goodreads and Amazon. Did really well on its first day of sales, and it's still doing well. We went into the top 400. I mean, come on. So yeah, that's it really. This is the first in a series of books called the Thorn series. So there's a detective in here that carries on into the next 2 books as well.
Nice.
Which second has been written and is with an editor, and the third I'm in the process of writing.
Wow.
Brilliant. Catherine, can you hold it a bit closer to the camera, because that looks like a great cover.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what? I'll pop this up on screen, although you can actually see it quite well on there.
The cover was done by a guy called Ivan, and his company's book covers art, and it was just one of those, when you're browsing, and it was a pre-made one, and it just popped into my Facebook feed actually, and I got chills, because that is exactly what I imagine Kate to look like, with the red hair and the waves and stuff like that. And I actually thought, oh, yeah, this guy's just read my mind. And then I went to him with the synopsis for the second book, and he came back with the colour, which I'm not sharing yet. And it just, again, it was like, wow, you really get it. So yeah,
it really does look fantastic. Yeah. So why did you go with a theme, I guess, or that genre of writing, and how come it ended up in Scotland?
It ended up in the Scottish Highlands because, Kate, the character, had been with me for a long time. You have these things in your head, and you kind of mull them over, and you're building like these worlds and things. I couldn't find a place for her. She didn't belong in Leeds. She definitely didn't belong anywhere in Yorkshire. And I went to the Highlands of Scotland with my husband about 8-9 years ago, and the minute we walked, it's a small place called Gairloch, and the minute we walked into the harbour, it was just like pennies dropped everywhere. I was like, this is where Kate lives, this is where she belongs. So we fell in love with the place anyway, and we've been back 3 times a year for the last 8 years. Looked at buying a house there last year. There's a little writing retreat, fell through unfortunately. And it was just the place is so atmospheric. The weather is horrendous, and there's so much opportunity there. So yeah, and it never started out as a crime thriller. It was a bit of a fluffy, romancy type thing. I'm a massive true crime fan. And when I sat down to write it, I just went over to the dark side.
That was probably an influence to the Scottish Highlands, though, wasn't it? As you said, the atmosphere there almost led you down that path.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So you mentioned that you had this character in your mind, and obviously the character nearly drove you to this location, but where did it all come from in the first place to want to write that?
The whole wanting to write thing?
In fact, before you say that, I've been on your website, which is a fantastic looking website, and there's got a lot of good stuff in there, and information about your backstory, which is something I'm going to highlight, which is very, very familiar to my story. That you mentioned at school and you didn't get on.
Yeah, definitely not.
And that this was a story that then there's something else that you wrote about what you were doing in school in terms of writing that I found and I thought was fantastic. So can you explain that bit about your school history in that respect to writing?
I can't remember what put on the website now.
It's about stories that you kind of staple together.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, I used to write stories and sell them for sweets. and the really weird thing is that the next door neighbour I had when I was also with my parents, we had at the time, was my primary school teacher, and she's been the next door neighbour for 40 odd years now, and her name is Mrs. Wheeler, and she's in the book. And it was didn't do it consciously or anything, but I remember going around to her house with these little strips of paper, and she was the only one in the street that had a stapler. And she used to photocopy and staple these stories together for me. And I used to sell them for sweets.
So is that where the writing inspiration really came from, where your sort of passion for writing started?
Yeah, always done it, always written, always had I've started a journal when I was about 11. I still do that today. There's kind of I can't show you, I can't move the camera around, but there's just stacks of notebooks like this high with just scribbles there. Most of them are only got 4 or 5 pages used, but it's like it's I've always done it, always done it. And I turned 50 in January 21, and I just thought, if I don't do it now, I never will. So what do you got to learn?
So, Catherine, tell us about this process then, and how you actually came to sitting down and writing a novel, and what was that like?
It was really hard at first, actually, when I sat down, because I kind of cleared this space. I'd clear everything else out of my diary and said, right, this is it now. I'm going to start writing. And it was kind of like a pinch me moment, because it was like, is this it now? Is this, I'm actually doing this? This is like my job. This is full time. And once I'd started, it was like a blur all over the screen. It was just like a conscious stream of words just came out and just fell out of me. And then I thought, well, I can't read this is crap. I need to do something with this. So I threw the first draft away. And then I wrote it again. And then it kind of said, I went down this dark path because it was just very fluffy. And I thought, no, that's just not me. That's not me. And eventually I had to sit down and actually do a bit of a plan. So it was a very loose outline, and then kind of as the story progressed, twists and turns and things kind of came to my head, and I had to kind of say, oh, well, she can't do that if she's doing that, and it just became a challenge. So the second one that I've already written, I was more prepared and organised with the first one. And literally I did this thing where you save your final document and you call it final document. I've got a document called final actual final document because that's it now. I've done now. No,
yeah, I've been there. I've definitely been there, and I had plenty. Yeah. The amount of times I've had to clear especially with the show, clear my desktop of multiple files, it's been horrendous.
Yeah,
it really has.
And then trying to go back to the right version was like, well, that's his final, so that must. And then looking at the date and thinking, no, because I've written more. It was just, so this time I'm so super organised with the second one.
So, Catherine, you say you were almost like pulled into crime, and you started off writing a bit of a sort of fluffy novel, like you said. Why do you think that was? What are your sort of inspirations for writing, and what have you done different with this book that maybe we don't see in crime? And what could you compare it to? So, like obviously, we may have people listening who really enjoy crime. What sort of stuff is it relatable to?
So I wanted to do something. I wanted to write about a female character who has flaws, who isn't perfect, and I always like to challenge the norm. So I did a Curtis Brown writing course a couple of years ago, and it was like, the female protagonist should go on a journey. At the end, she should come out triumphant and this, that, and the other. And I thought, but what if she doesn't? What if actually she's keeping something back? I'm not going to give any spoilers away.
Yeah.
And what if she's not perfect? And what if she's not this wonderful woman that gets it right first time? Because we don't. We have our heads turned. We wear our heart on our sleeve sometimes. We are vulnerable, but we're not stupid. And it was kind of the challenge of writing a character like that made me think, okay, so I'm going to put her in a really extreme situation. How would she respond? And then getting into the mindset and thinking, okay, so she's got this antagonist who is effectively controlling her coercively. So how would she behave in that situation? How would any woman behave? So there's a lot of research that went into it. And that kind of, the deeper I got into the psychology of that, the darker the story got.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was kind of challenging. I like to challenge the status quo of.
Yeah. And is crime something that you've always read and enjoyed as a reader, and then once you started into that genre, it came quite naturally, or did you have to do a lot of research in the genre and stuff as well?
No, I've been a true crime addict I feel like my name's Catherine, I'm a true crime addict, and I listen to every podcast and channel. Crime and Investigation channel is constantly on record. Yes, when Sky Crime brought their own channel out, it was like party time. It was fantastic. And I even listen to true crime podcasts when I'm writing as well, just for a bit of inspiration, because you think, oh, that scene couldn't possibly happen, and then you hear a host say, and then so and so did such and such. Of course, it can. It happened. So I've always listened to crime, and I think I did a course in criminal psychology and criminology as well. So it's always kind of intrigued me, and then I wanted to be able to use. I didn't take the courses to use it in the writing, but once I'd started learning about it, I kind of just married the two together. I thought this makes absolute sense to do. So, yeah.
Well, Chris, we can't hear you.
Apologies. I muted my mic, of course. We've got a question from Anya, and she says, what's the biggest challenge you confronted as a writer, and how did you overcome that?
It was probably when I submitted the first draft of The Lie She Told. It wasn't called that, and it was still a kind of the fluffy romance, and I submitted it to an agent. I got taken on. I got a publishing deal, a 2-book publishing deal, sent off the first draft of the manuscript. It came back, and it was like paper then, so that tells you how long ago it was. It came back, and it was just full of red pen and crossings out and notes and this, that, and I just took it out, cried, put it in a drawer, and never went back to it, and just said, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And that would have been about maybe 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And it put me off writing forever. I was just I mean, you know, as writers, well, egos are very fragile as it is. We don't have any self-confidence whatsoever. So the minute you think we've got this big deal, and then suddenly you just red pen everywhere, it took me right back to my school days, and I thought, I'm never writing again.
It is amazing that highlights the issues, I guess, with trying to be traditionally published, that, you know, people expect that when you get sort of signed and you think you're done, and then you get a smack in the face with this much work you've got to do extra. It can really be off-putting, can't it?
And they wanted to change it and it to be even more kind of chick lit, and that's not me. Not me.
So how did you overcome that then? How did you go from that point to the point that you're at now?
It took a lot. I think the main thing was I carried on journaling. I journaled not every night, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I kind of sat flicking back through some journals, and the one constant thing was always, I want to write a book. I've got this idea, and I just thought, well, why don't you do it? So I sat down. I started doing right on a morning when I was working full time. I used to get up on a morning early, and I'd just sit for an hour and just write. And I found that as I started writing, these ideas just came floating past me. And then I read a book by Elizabeth Gilbert called Big Magic, and she uses a brilliant sentence in there where she just says, an idea will come knocking, and if you're paying attention, it will quietly whisper, do you want to work with me? And it's up to you how you respond. If you don't respond, then the idea will move on to someone else. And I remember reading it and thinking that that's Kate, that's who's been pecking my head. I need to do something with this. So I sat down and kind of fleshed out her character, and then it all kind of went from there. Like I say, I went to the Highlands, and it all went from there.
Halo's on the chat, and she said that crime in Scotland are 2 of her favourite things.
I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah, Anya said, so beautiful in a haunting way. So that kind of touches on what you said earlier. But she also said, I want to take that creepy Mary King's close tour of the Undercity again. And that sounds like something we need to put on the writing show list again there, Chris. You know, definitely go there and film that one. Have you experienced anything like that, or has anything sort of paranormal ever worked its way into your work?
I've had some paranormal experiences here in the house I live in.
Yeah. As it's October, we were okay to hear this now.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, I could keep you entertained for hours. So the house that I live in, I'm only the second person to have lived in it. It was an old couple that lived in it before me. They didn't die or anything. They just moved to an old folks home. But on the day and it was just me and my son living here at the time. And on the day that we were moving in, the old lady came back to me and she said, look, we didn't tell you when we were selling the house because we didn't want you to pull out, but you do need to know that there is, we're not sure, but there is something within the house. It's very friendly, but we just thought we'd let you know. So I was like, I'm kind of into all that stuff anyway. So I was like super excited to do a Ouija board, have a seance. Anyway, I kept it calm. A couple of things started happening. There was a picture that we had that was above the sofa in the living room, wouldn't stay up. It didn't matter whether we put drilled nails into it, whether we super glued it, it would not stay up. It kept falling down. So that was weird. And then I've always had cats, and I shut them in the kitchen overnight. We've got a cat flap so they can go in now, but I don't want them up in the bedroom. So I shut them in the kitchen overnight. Now the kitchen door is really sticky, and you have to give it a little kick at the bottom. And every night for about a month, I was waking up in the early hours of the morning with a cat on my bed, and I was like, how the hell did that happen? I know I shut that kitchen door. My son would have been about 10, 11 years old at this time. And one of the cats went into his room, And we were both independently getting up, putting the cat back in the kitchen, shutting the kitchen door, going back to bed, and not saying anything to each other. And this went on for like 4 or 5 weeks until Daniel said to me one day, "Mum, Cedar and Winnie keep getting out of the kitchen. You keep forgetting to shut the kitchen door. You know, it's waking me up in the middle of the night." And I'm like, "No, wait a second. I do shut the kitchen door." It's like, "It's you that's leave it open." And he was like, "No, it's not me. It's you." So we purposely went to bed one night, both shut the kitchen door, 3 o'clock in the morning, heard the door get unstuck. The door came open. 2 cats came out. Me and Daniel were sat on the stairs and we watched it happen. It was spooky as chuff.
Well, the easiest thing to do to get rid of that sort of issue is to get rid of the cats, I guess, isn't it?
No! No! I'll get rid of the kitchen door before I get rid of the cats.
Well, that is interesting, yeah. There was a house when we were young. We lived in West Wales at a time, and it was an old farmhouse. It was a beautiful place, and looking back at it now, there's a creepy cellar going down into pitch black. How I wasn't terrified of this place when I was little, I don't know. But there was things happening to my family and my sisters and stuff there that was just unexplainable at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's definitely. And I guess it's they talk a lot about a younger person, a child almost, being more susceptible to that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the husband was extremely skeptical until it started happening to him. When he moved in, and he was like, "Right, there's something really weird with that door." I know, tell me something.
Amazing.
So, Catherine, I was going to say, if we bring it back to the novels a little bit, with Kate, your main character, how did you find writing book 2? Because Agate has just released book 2 of his series, and obviously, it was that a completely different experience, because the first time, I should imagine, you're getting the character out on the page, discovering who they are, but the second time, how did you approach that?
Actually, I found book 2 much easier to write than the first one, because I'd had the majority of the idea for it whilst I was writing book 1, so I was kind of making notes as I went along. And then I had whereas with the first one, I didn't really have a full clear picture of how it was going to end when I started out. With the second one, I did, so I kind of worked backwards. It still goes off on twists and turns and tangents, as my writing probably always will. But it took me 6 weeks to write from start to finish. It was just over 95,000 words, because once I started writing, it just kind of flowed. I've said that it's now. I'm using an editor this time. I didn't use an editor for the first one, but it's with the editor now. So the chances are it's going to come back and be cut to maybe 20,000 words. But I kind of want to do that because I want to learn. I want to get better, and I know the book can be better. Basically, because I wrote it so quickly, I'm a little bit. Probably shouldn't happen that easy.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we've interviewed some really a vast range of authors recently, and the amount of people that keep coming back to me saying, "Yeah, I did it in 6 weeks." Like, we had Steve Kavanagh on, and he's number 1 on Amazon at the minute, and he wrote 50/50 in 6 weeks, and I was like,
"No way! Yeah.
How does that even happen?" Like,
weird.
It's insane, but yeah, it's funny you should say that, because it seems to be like a bit of a growing trend. I think it's a load of factors in terms of like time restraints, and once the idea flows, I think people realize that if they get it out straight away, it's kind of a better book as a result and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So your first book, Catherine, seemed more like a Panzer style written book, and I guess your second one, was it more plotted, a lot more structured?
Yeah, it was. I took some time. I actually took some time out, and I worked to a 3-act structure, which helped me massively. But I mean, you can't see it on the walls at the minute, but I used the magic dry whiteboards, and the shed was literally just magic dry whiteboard the whole way around. And that really helped me, because I just kind of worked along there. And it gave me, because I found with the first one as well, and you probably know this, is that when you get to like the middle bit, it gets a bit saggy. It's like the mid 30,000 words. And I was like, I'm sure what I'm writing here is absolute crap.
Yeah.
So I kind of kept going, and I didn't know kind of where I was going with it, and there was just all this bulk, which I ended up cutting most of it out. Whereas with the second one, I didn't experience any of that. It was like bang, 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 done. And I enjoyed writing it as much as I enjoyed writing the first as well.
I love the idea that you got like all these boards up like a crime scene, like you're doing your own FBI sort of movie.
Yeah.
Halo said, which book did you enjoy writing more? And I kind of get the feeling it's your second, and it may be similar to the reasons you kind of pointed out, and the same as what I experienced, that with the first book, I think most people don't really know what they're doing, and it's more like panic stations rather than enjoyment.
I think definitely the second, because I felt a lot more confident when I was doing it. I felt because I'd gone through, or the book rather was going through like all the KDP, the uploading process and ebook and all the reviews and stuff like that. So I was getting some really good reviews back, which kind of kept me going as I was writing the second one. And the second one, because it's a little bit different to the first one. So the detective that's in the first one is the main focus in the second one. And I just kind of wanted to I don't know, kind of throw things out there. So like there's a bit of BDSM in there, there's some torture, there's some, and it's just kind of playing around with these ideas, but then making it all coherent as a story. So I had much more fun with the second, I would say, than I did with the first.
Nice.
Would you ever look into, now you've gone down this self-published route and you've kind of found your feet in the way you want to go, would you ever consider trying to get traditionally published again now, or not bother?
No.
You would never go back down that route now?
No. I mean, I spent a long time kind of deciding whether I should self-publish or not. I did a book a couple of years ago, which was self-published on digital marketing, because that's my background. And I kind of cut my teeth on that, really. I kind of learned all the impossibilities to torture. There's a lot. So I kind of cut my teeth on that and learned the self-publishing process. But then when I was looking at the traditional publishing, and particularly doing the course with Curtis Brown, it just became so apparent that you lose so much control of the content, but also as an author, you're expected to do so much of the marketing yourself, building your email list, your social media following, stuff like that. I've got a background in digital marketing. I've got an email list already. I just thought, well, why would you give away that amount of control when you're going to be doing 90% of the work yourself anyway? So
certainly.
Yeah,
it's very surprising to hear that. We've experienced that with a lot of other authors, that the work you need to put in as a published author is as much as a self-published anyway. So it kind of blows my mind that you would even spend years trying to sell your work and having your confidence knocked down just to try and do that. But
yeah.
So Catherine, we have to, before we go into like the writing community question time from other people, we have some writing community like chat show questions that we're going to ask you. Get them in there.
Right.
So one of them is, if you could take any character from fiction and make it your own, whether that be TV, film, or anything else, and have a crack at it, which character would you pick and why?
Oh dear Lord.
Never fails, Chris.
No.
Can character from fiction? Okay, so I could go really random and say Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind, because I was obsessed with that film when I was young, and I love her sass. Or I could be, I don't know, Kenny from South Park. I don't know.
Oh, I love that. What would you do with either of those characters? Would you take them out of the situations they're in and put them somewhere else, or would you just run with what they've already got and try to do
I'd run with what you can't change perfection, can you? You can't change that for minutes.
Well, you could throw them into a different genre. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I switch roles. Kenny's in.
Oh, nice. In Gone with the Wind. Like it.
If you could change the ending of any novel, what would you choose and why? It doesn't have to be for reasons of dislike. It can be for reasons of whatever. But if you don't mind.
If I could change the ending of any novel. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just looking at the novels that I've got now. A cat's cracked in whilst we've been chatting. Hello. I don't know.
The ghost let the cat in.
Yeah.
I noticed the door open. I just thought it was the wind, but there's a cat.
There's a lot of our fans that love animals. Can you grab your cat? Is it reachable?
He's asleep.
It crept in whilst it was asleep.
Hang on.
They really scratch your face off if you try and pick it up.
Yeah.
No, you can't see him. You can see my desk. Oh, here we go. Can you see him now? No, it's down in the corner there. Somewhere.
No. Oh, yeah, I saw an ear. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
That's Jensen.
There we go. Oh, that's cute.
Jensen. I've got one cat called Jensen and one cat called Button.
That's amazing.
Guess what I'm fun of?
Yeah. Who's faster than the other? That's the question.
Well, I keep shouting Jensen Button in the back garden, but he's not appeared yet.
Maybe one day.
There's lots of another novel. I don't know. I think if I was going to be, if I was going to change the ending of if we change the end of a film, I would, and it would be the one with Bruce Willis where he sees dead people.
Ah, okay. The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, Bruce Willis wouldn't be dead. He would just be living a really random life.
Well, do you know what? I saw a meme on Facebook or Twitter, wherever it was the other day, and it said, "You think you've had a bad day? This guy's been working and he's been dead for years." I thought that's the absolute pits, isn't it?
He's still been turning up for work and he's dead.
Yeah, he's been turning up every day and he's been dead for ages. I'd be devastated. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely not, you dirty. No.
Oh, get in. That's like 3 for 3 now in the past few guests we've had, Chris.
It does. I think it still needs to happen every show. Queen or the Beatles?
Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah, I can live with that. What else do we say?
Never pineapple. Maybe Galaxy or Caramel?
Galaxy.
Oh, that was wrong, wasn't it? Dairy Milk.
Yeah. Oh, Dairy Milk, yeah.
Galaxy anyway.
You messed that one up, man.
Well, I don't know, Chris.
I'm a bird.
So,
I've just noticed,
Chris.
Actually, this jump makes it look like I work at the range. It's actually a super drop. There, when I say it like that, it just says it's the range uniform.
That's brilliant. Chris, go and ask you a morbid question that you always ask.
Oh yeah, this is a bit morbid, but I like it. So you're on your deathbed. You're looking back at your writing career. What does success look like for you? What would you be happy with?
I don't know. Appearing on Oprah's book club, or Reese book club. Yeah,
not Richard and Judy's, no.
No. Bossy girl, remember?
Yeah. Evan said fruit and nut. Hello, Evan. It's been a while. Excellent. Cool. Should we move on to some questions from the community? Happy to do that, yeah?
Yeah.
We've got a little intro for this as well.
We have.
Oh, wow.
I've been dabbling with the old video things, and it's nothing spectacular, but here it is.
Wow.
Do you know what? I can't jump into that yet. I can't do it because I've just seen something I missed. There's 2 reviews about your novel that I want to read out. We're gonna have to do that. No, they're great. So this is in reference to your book that is called The Lie She Told. So this debut novel by Catherine Yaffe feels anything but, and I can't wait to read more by this talented author. 5 stars, and can't wait to read what the author brings out next. Recommend reading. 5 stars again. Fantastic reviews.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've
got them stuck to my wall here.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
if I printed mine off, it'd just be a hit list. People like that nice.
So yeah, question time. A fancy video now that is been forgotten about. So let's have a look. First question, Chris. I'll read the first one out and then I'll chuck you over the second one.
Do I have to catch it?
Yeah, from Liam K. Wilson at Liam is writing. General question in writing for authors out there: how much do you write in an hour / day? Go on, Chris.
In an hour, I've never really timed this, but I did 700 words in an hour once, and I was pretty impressed with that. In a day, I'll try and set like a limit on it. Like at the moment, I'm going for that 2,500 mark a day, if possible, simply because I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to finish the second book that I'm writing, and I've got a deadline on that. And if I don't do 2,500 words a day, then I'm not going to meet it.
Which is very quickly approaching, Chris Hooley.
It is, and it don't even you're just scaring me now. But yeah, that's about as max as I could do in a day. I couldn't be like these 8,000, 10,000 a day people. I couldn't do that.
What about you, Catherine?
It really depends. Today I was lucky if I did 500. But then there's some days and I'll do that 8,000-9,000 words. It depends. It really depends on where I am in the book, actually, because when I first start writing, like I am at the minute with the third, it probably is only maybe 500 to 1,000 words a day. But once I get into the flow of it, then when I'm coming to the end, it can bump up to. But I think 8,000 is the most I've ever done in a day.
That's impressive.
That is. What about you, Agate?
Dave Middleton says, I tend to mark how much I write per latte. Love that. Well, it depends, because on my day, I was writing sort of 2,000 to 3,000 and getting in the zone, and I was quite happy to keep going. And I'm quite quick, so I'd say quite a lot in an hour. But recently, I've been in a massive, I wouldn't say writer's block, because I've got loads of ideas flowing. I haven't had the motivation to write anything. And I don't know what it is. It's just maybe the times and the show, I don't know. But at the moment, not a lot. Normally about 2,000 to 3,000. But it's all right. It's all right. I'm not panicking just yet. Next question.
So I've been thinking about this a lot.
No, I've done it again. That was the end of the last question. He says, for some reason, I mostly achieve about 1,000 words an hour, usually 2,000 a day. That was part of the last question. Apologies.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say that started very interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Yeah. Go on then.
So, Gabriella Bubba, at Gabriella Bubba. Hey, writing community. Today's writing question. Does your main character forgive after a betrayal?
We'll start with you, Catherine.
Oh, knew you would. Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Chris, what about you? Because your man is a man of death. Does he get betrayed?
No, he did. I mean, the first one, my first main character, Jack, he never really gets betrayed, so he's got nothing to forgive. But my second character, no, he does not forgive after a betrayal. He actually sets up a plot to kill multiple people to practice getting revenge on that one person who's betrayed him.
Yes, love that.
So, no.
For me, absolutely not. If you read the second book in the Daisy series, you will find out that she does not give up on those things at all. Got a couple of random. We got a Halo section as usual this week.
Nice.
Serious question from Halo: is murder creepier in the city or country? And I guess Catherine would be good to answer this one with. Is it creepier in the country or in the city?
My immediate answer would be country, but then I've just written a second one which is based in a city, and that's far more scarier than the country one. So I'm 50-50 on that.
Yep. I'm going to say I think city, because of that image of, like, say, Jack the Ripper, those sort of dramas about, the city as London's, the cobble streets and just the clunky shoes, that's just for me.
Yeah, I'm going to say the city as well, because I think the country, you're half expecting some weird stuff to be happening. Whereas,
especially if you're a dog walker.
Whereas in the city, obviously, I love the idea of them being somebody very close by doing some really scary stuff, and you're completely oblivious. I love that.
Good answer.
All right. Yeah. If you've got any questions on the chat, guys, throw them in and we'll answer them.
I like that silly one as well. Do you like walruses?
Oh, next part. Yeah.
I have never met a walrus. I have nothing against walruses. So yes, I'm going to say I like them.
Cuckoo.
I don't like them because they eat seals.
Oh.
Anya says urban murder is scarier because grittier.
Oh, yeah.
And city is scarier. Is a scarier concept to help should exist nearby but doesn't come. True. If you get stabbed these days, they pretty much just get their phones out. Halo said the walrus is a majestic creature, so we know where she stands on this. I've got to say, I have no qualms with the walrus.
Eating seals is a pretty big qualm.
Yeah,
they're proper cute.
Well, I eat penguins.
No, you don't.
I do chocolate ones.
Oh, come on. That was a proper dad joke, that, Chris.
Oh, dear.
Come on, someone's got to do it. Okay, Alex Del Libero. Anyone can pronounce that better than me. Hey, writing community, what book shall I buy next? Currently reading Saltwater Secrets by Cindy Callahan.
Mine.
Your book, definitely. By Catherine Yaffe's book, or by our beer sponsor, E.G. Radcliffe's The Last Prince, or by both. That would be a perfect combination. Definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, serious, but like, not that we're not serious, because obviously we are. But I read Stu Taunton's The Devil in the Dark Water, and if you like Sherlock Holmes, that is definitely a book that you should be getting hold of, because it's technically Sherlock Holmes, but I want to say better. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more. I think he took all those conventions and played with them really well.
I enjoyed his interview. It was very good.
Yeah, he was good.
A question from Anya that's come in. She said, caffeine or booze as best writing inspiration?
Ooh.
You got that.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, what about a, what's it called? Vodka and coffee drink. There's a name for it. Vodka martini, espresso martini.
Espresso martini.
Technically both, kind of win-win. But I'm going to say coffee, I think. Depends on the time of day.
So I'm going to just go the opposite and say, Irish coffee is good. I'm going to say alcohol. Joseph Knox, we know, is a firm drinker. And he swears by having a few drinks to get those creative juices flowing. So I'm going to say alcohol.
Well, you know what? When we talked about going on a writer's retreat, Catherine, have you ever been on a writer's retreat?
No.
No, this is something that we were trying to wangle a free night or two. It hasn't happened yet, but we're trying. But one of the things that we spoke about, Chris mentioned being drunk while writing, and I've never done it. And we thought we're going to vlog the whole weekend if it ever happens. And one night I'll do that, and we'll film it and see what kind of production I get.
Nice. What about you, Catherine? What's your choice?
I think alcohol for ideas and caffeine to do the writing, because I can't cope without caffeine.
Yeah, definitely. And editing as well, I think, for caffeine, because sometimes it's going to be a long slog and you think, right, I'm going to need to stay awake for a few hours.
It's boring as well.
Vodka, coffee, boring. Writer's left.
Yeah. So, Catherine, with your digital marketing background, this is a question that I'm asking from the writing community. That, as an interested member, what tips and advice would you give someone in that way? Because obviously Vince has just mentioned the writers' lists, which we always do, and in my own experience, they're not great for helping you. So, what tips would you give?
Got a few. I think you probably hear it a lot, but building your email list is crucial, absolutely crucial. And to do that, it can be, you don't have to pay anything. The first 2 chapters, create a MailChimp or MailerLite account, put a sign up post on a Facebook page, put it on your Twitter page, put it on your Instagram, get people to sign up. That will be the first tip. Your email list is absolutely crucial to success. And then the second one is engagement. You have to engage with people. It's not enough just to pop into Twitter or on Instagram or Facebook or wherever and just push. You have to have conversations and you have to create relationships. I think when I first started doing digital marketing about 12 years ago, that was such an alien concept. But now, as obviously we're in these COVID times or whatever, people are kind of getting and understanding that connecting thing a little bit more. But I think for writers, it's imperative that you have that engagement. You take time out of your day to communicate and have conversations. I met you guys through Twitter, and I've got this fantastic opportunity now. If it hadn't have been for Twitter and your podcast, then I wouldn't be here. And there's a lot of publicity opportunities that I've had have been because I'm engaged on Twitter community and #writing community. I found that really good. Writer's Lift, I just find it full of spam.
Yeah.
But Writing Community is really good. I found that good.
Well, there's two reasons why this show exists. Firstly, the writing community massively helped me write my book. Hands down did. And without their help, I wouldn't have done it. And secondly, we wanted to pay back that sort of attention. And the Be a Book promotion that is going on, seeing the book in the corner and we talked about, is an alternative to that, because we agree with you completely that it is just... You might have 200 people post their books on there. Who in reality is going to look at that and possibly buy your book from there? Not many people.
No. Exactly.
Although we do, because we do it live on the show sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's about, like I say, it's about creating those relationships that, and also as well. Oh God, this sounds so cliched, but it's finding your tribe. So I when I first started writing, I was obviously already listening to true crime podcasts and things like that, and I reached out to a couple of the true crime hosts and said, look, can I write a podcast episode for you? I did freelance journalism for a bit as well, so I've got a bit of background in writing stories and covering cases. So I just wrote 2 or 3 episodes, sent them to various podcast hosts, and then when it came to time to promoting my book, I said, right, okay, would you mind putting my book on your email list, or can I share it in your Facebook page, your Facebook group? So it's opening that connection and that network and saying, right, not necessarily doing things for free, but it's about collaboration, which is why I love what you guys do, because it's about working together and how can we support each other. And when you're independent, whether you're a podcast host, whether you're selling a book or anything like that, you've got to work together, because without it, you're just one man on an island, really, or woman.
There's some interesting conversations going on about. we talked about the writers' retreat, about filming it. There's a real need for us to once COVID's done, we want to go to sort of writing conventions, take a camera and just kind of vlog all these things. And weirdly, because I'm from Wales, shearing a sheep was one of the things that they wanted. And now the conversations in the chat have gone a bit wild. Halo said, a valid point, Agate can smooth the sheep with a lullaby while we shear and milk it. I'm not sure. This sounds like it's getting a bit out of hand, guys. But for the world of entertainment, amazing.
That's crazy. So, Catherine, have you got any crazy stories from people that you have connected with? Because, maybe you've had a fan contact you, or these things do happen. Have you got any?
It's not crazy, but I think it kind of highlights how naive I was when I published the book, and I had people contacting me saying, how do I get a signed copy? And I was like, why would you want a signed copy? I don't understand. And the husband said to me, well, you're an author, that's what you do, you sign books. I'm like, no, don't be ridiculous. But literally I had 15, 20 requests for signed copies, so I had to figure out, obviously self-published on Amazon. It's like, how the hell do I do that? So I had to work that out. But then the funniest thing what happened on last Friday, my mum rang me. Catherine, have you written a book? Been banging on about it. Yeah. Well, I were in Tesco today, and so from over the road stopped me and said, if they bought a book, would you sign it? Anyway, this conversation went on for about 3 or 4 minutes. I turned up at my mum's on Tuesday to take her shopping. She had 5 books that neighbours had popped through letterbox for me to sign. So I'm sat there a bit embarrassed. And my dad's saying, what are you writing? Look at the state of your handwriting. Can't believe you still write like that. I'm like, oh, seriously, Dad, what I'm doing. So that's a bit naive. Never even, why would people want signed copy? That's mad.
That's brilliant. I love that.
What are some of the true crime podcasts you listen to?
Oh, so UK True Crime, where Adam Lloyd is the host. That's really good. I like that one because it's quite short, so it's good if you're going on a commute anywhere. True Crime Enthusiasts with Paul. He has done if you're going to listen to him, he's done a really good story out called The Maniac. It's 5 episodes. If you listen to him, brilliant. Seeing Red is another one with Bethan and Mark as well. And then Lady Justice.
Oh, okay. They all sound like proper ones. I listened to one that's really stupid, and it's called The Last Podcast on the Left. It's just full of really, really stupid people, but they do talk about true crime stuff, which I kind of do like.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not check that out. If what's your favourite crime? Oh, that's an interesting question, Halo.
Is that crime novel or just crime?
Knowing Halo, I think that's crime. I reckon that's a crime. I reckon that there was a film out recently about all those old guys that robbed a bank.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool crime for a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
Why not?
So I'm gonna satisfy Halo's taste and say one of my favourite crimes is Ed Gein, and his whole story. I just find that really fascinating and really strange as well.
Eating the headlamps out of the
he made skulls. He was eating cereal out of people's skulls and stuff. And I think that's the answer Halo wanted.
Isn't that normal?
He used the skin off people's torsos as curtains and bed coverings and
wow.
Yeah.
Weren't he like the inspiration for Buffalo Bill in the Hannibal film?
Yeah, well.
Or books. Because he was making. Yeah, there we go. He was making was it a female suit he was making that he could
I'll make
wear?
A shoehorn out of your skin. That's a Blind Melon song. Maybe it was about that guy. I'm not sure.
Probably was.
It may have been. Let's have another question.
Is shearing a sheep a crime if you've not got a license?
Imagine if I just jumped on with a pair of battery-operated clippers onto a farm field and sheared a sheep. Probably would get told off. Okay, let's have a look.
So, Catherine, what's your favourite crime?
Don't know, really. Depends how gruesome you want to get.
Go on, get gruesome.
I think I've got a bit of a thing for Ed Semper. You know, the 6 foot tall giant serial killer, America. He was in, if you've ever watched Netflix, it's gone, completely gone. Can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Ed Semper. He's a serial killer in America. He was crime. Oh God. Anyway, he was super, super intelligent. He killed his grandparents when he was 15, 16. Got put in a mental institute. Was released into the public after 2 or 3 years, and then just went on a massive, killing spree.
Oh, is he the one that was on the Netflix series? He's interviewed by the guy on multiple occasions. He kind of becomes. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah,
it's not Des, is it?
Ed Semper, yeah.
No, I'm thinking of something.
No,
else.
the show's not that. It's something Minds, I think.
Criminal Minds.
It's not. No.
It's based on FBI profiling. It was when the first.
Yeah, he's like the first one, isn't he? Yeah, and doesn't he get funding for it, and then. Yeah, it's a good series. That.
Yeah, really good.
Mindhunter?
That's the one.
Yeah, two correct answers. That's the one. Apparently, Ed Kemper does voice acting for audiobooks.
No way.
No way. No idea.
That is amazing. True? Catherine, you should totally get on that. Send in your book.
Yeah.
Send it in. You'd have to do a Scottish accent. But let's have a look. Okay. Don't really.
What a selling point that would be for a crime book.
Yeah.
And narrated by
it. Brilliant.
This person's Twitter name is actually "Don't Worry About 2020." At CM Albright. Good morning, writing community. Any tips for writing court scenes? I have one coming up. Hopefully, a scene in a book, not a court scene. I want to get it right first time. Help. Does anyone have any court scene advice?
One, it depends where this court is. That's my big factor. If it's in America, it's going to be very different to in the UK.
Well,
speak to a lawyer.
Yeah, if it's in the UK, speak to Tony Kent that we had on the show.
We did. He writes brilliant books, by the way.
Full-time barrister still?
He is. Yeah. And he reads books between cases. How cool is that?
Yeah. Maybe visit a court proceeding. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You can. You can definitely do it in the UK. You can basically just turn up. Well, not anymore because of COVID, but you used to be able to just watch trials and stuff go on.
I know they do it on TV programs, actually, don't they? Definitely on Sky. So perhaps just watch one of those and see what information you get.
So Scotland, some of the Scottish courts are streaming their virtual court cases live.
And it also depends on the perspective, doesn't it? Depends on the perspective, because if you're the lawyer, then obviously you're going to want to speak to a lawyer and get their idea and interpretation of things. And if you're like the defendant, like obviously, you might want to reach out to Ed and ask him how things were.
Or just watch A Few Good Men and completely make it different in the worst possible way. I'm going to try and get this name right. Jaideep, does that look right? Jaideep?
Yeah.
What will you do if you have an extra 2 hours a day?
Sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah, that's a good choice, actually.
It is. It's very good.
It was sleep on drink, so I went with sleep.
Maybe an hour extra drinking and an hour extra sleep sounds quite good.
Do you know, I reckon reading, because at the moment I either get to read or write, and I've been reading a Chuck Palahniuk book now for like 4 days, and normally I can get a book done in a couple of days, and it's really irritating me because I'm only like 30% of the way through, and it's been 4 days. So, but I just haven't had the time, and I'm one of these personalities where I'm like, I want to get the book read before I move on to something else.
Yeah.
And it's quite demanding, so it's not a quick, easy read. The language and the dialogue and it's quite intense, but I'm enjoying it because he's a great author. But yeah, reading. I mean, imagine extra 2 hours a day. What's that in a week? 2 times 7. 14. So 14 hours. I'd be laughing. Yeah.
Well, I think
I'd have finished it.
The consensus on the chat is you can tell the kind of the audience we have here is whiskey, tequila, and vodka. So I'm guessing most of our camp goes to drink. Catherine, what did you say? Sleep?
Yeah, sleep. I'm rapidly moving over to drink, to be fair.
See, I'd be like, I kind of want to go to bed, but I've got 2 hours. I could watch a film. Reduce hours to 45 minutes. Increase your productivity. Not sure what that means. Vimto, Dave Middleton says. Vimto.
That must be an anagram for something much saucier than Vimto.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, it's Dave. Come on, he's from Birmingham. He doesn't just drink Vimto.
Do you have Vimto in Birmingham?
Yeah, they do, but I don't think they spend 2 hours a day worshipping Vimto.
That's just put a brilliant image in my head of all these people worshipping Vimto around Birmingham.
Yeah, someone opens a can. It's the Vimto.
Ooh. I was going to try a Birmingham accent to do it. No,
go on, Dave. No. Go on, Dave.
I can't even think of one.
I've dared you live on Periscope and all the channels that are on.
We're loving Vimto. No, can't do it. I'm notoriously amazing at voices, so I don't know. Can you do a Birmingham accent, either of you two?
Well, to do a Birmingham accent, you're supposed to say kippatai. Yes, the kippatai.
What the hell's a kippatai?
It's a cup of tea. Kippatai.
Kippatai? A cup of tea? A cup of tea? No, that's not right, is it?
No, that's not it. I can't do it.
Is Lenny Henry from Birmingham?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Why does that make a difference? Have you got a good Lenny Henry impression?
But at least I can hear him in my head then.
You can hear Lenny Henry in your head.
Yeah. Hayla says there should be a segment where I attempt accents. I really don't think. Oh, Dudley, I can do it, Dudley.
That's cool.
We love Vimto. No, still gone.
No, you've gone. Lost it again.
I think we should move on to a writing community family member. Oh, Catherine, you like this? We do every week a new writing community member to send love back into the community. We find someone who hasn't got much of a following on writing community, and we send them aimless, random gifts.
You get to pick the gift, Catherine.
And you do get to pick the gift. And this guy who asked us this question earlier about what books to buy next, he is going to be our new writing community member. So Alex Delibro, Alex Delibro, 25 followers. So if you go on Twitter right now, everybody, at AlexDelibriero. Find Mr. Alex Delibrio, who's got 25-ish followers, and follow him.
Are you sure it's a bloke, mate?
I think it is. Follow that person. And Catherine, what GIF? Oh, is it? Is that the right thing?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
It's a cartoon lady with blue hair. That is correct. I remember now. So please follow her. And Catherine, what GIF should we send her? It could be anything you want. As random as you want.
You're asking me to multitask now.
Yes, we are.
Oh, there we go. I found her with the blue hair. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah. Okay. So gift is in what? Like
it can be horror based. It can be. We had the dragons last week, I think.
Can we tweet it to her or just randomly send?
We had stingrays last week, so we just sent gifts of stingrays.
Walruses.
Nice. The walrus.
Yeah.
In fact, yes. So please go on to Alex Delibrio and send walruses. You can quote WCCS if you wish. That will at least give us some context as to what we're talking about.
The first walrus gif is a fat man just going into the pool. I just love that. Right,
send
wait,
it.
Can I show you that? Look at that.
Oh no!
Send it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cheat and send that one.
Please do.
Okay.
I can't currently. I just said it and I can't find it.
I love it.
LIB.
It's a sentence. She's already gone up in her following. She's got 37 now.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, like 38 now. I found her. So, walrus. How do you spell? Oh, fucking hell. All I can say as an author, thank God there's spelling software, writing software. Indeed. I'm going to send the walrus off. Oh, what is that walrus off? The cartoon walrus. Is it Alice in Wonderland?
This poor girl. I hope she's watching and knows what the hell's going on.
She's probably not watching, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes
this backfires, because I
You don't say.
No, but I found a writing community member and they had like 20 odd followers, and I introduced them to the group that we had, and I was like, "Oh, everyone show a bit of love to this person," and then they never went on again.
Deleted Twitter.
So I was just like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Imagine. Take yourself back to when you first went on Twitter and you were like, "Oh, this is quite interesting," and then people suddenly just bombard you with walruses.
Right.
And then all you see on your feed is walruses, because if you think about it, when you've only got so many followers, it doesn't come up with a great deal, does it? Yeah, exactly.
So you know what? We're making people smile, hopefully. Talking about smiling, we're going to talk about the mental health segment every week now because it's bloody COVID.
I like this bit.
Flood of walruses. So I've got a tip that is off. I was looking for questions from the writing community. Someone actually had a tip, and it's not directly mental health orientated, but I think it could help. So Mike Wayne Fire at MikeWayne.com. Good shout out for your .com there. For the last week, I have started each day by writing "What do I want?" at the top of a blank page. And he says, it's surprising how useful it is to keep asking yourself this question. Each time my answers get more precise. Now, I think this is a very valuable tool that we could actually use during stupid lockdown scenarios or whatever. Even if it is writing orientated, because my sort of circumstance at the moment where I can't get my words on a piece of paper, if every day I write down, I want to complete this by that day, I might have that in my head throughout the day. So possibly a valuable experience. What do you guys think?
I like it,
but
there's no but. I mean, I'm into this thing at the minute where you're not supposed to listen to your thoughts, because your thoughts can be positive and negative, and they simply are just thoughts. And if you pay more attention than needs be to them, then obviously they can become bigger. So asking yourself what do you want, obviously at that time it could be a number of things, and you could get lost in your own mind in that respect. So I am wary of that, because sometimes what do you want? If you're feeling down or whatever, what you want could be a path to destruction, because maybe you want an excess amount of drink, or you want to smoke, or you want to go out, and all these sorts of things. So that
well clearly there, Chris, I was thinking more on the positive small daily steps.
No, I know you was. I know you was.
No, it's good to highlight that you were thinking else. So
no, I get what Chris is saying, because actually that question is putting yourself under a lot of pressure, because if you're in that mindset, you don't know what you want. You know, you don't know what you want, and I actually find that if you are that way, the better thing to do is to not write anything, but to actually doodle and draw things, even if it just starts out as boxes. But then if you start to draw flowers and sunshines and rainbows and happier things, your mind gradually goes into that place. Then you can write, what do you want? So
perhaps we could reword that to, what positive small step do I want to achieve today or this week? As opposed to, what do you want? But no, I think that's a great thing to think about. So,
and also, whilst we're on the idea of like positivity and stuff like this, I've had a really and I literally just stopped for 10 minutes during one of my busiest days, and I listened to this podcast, which is called Caffeine for the Soul.
Oh yeah, I listened to that.
And that was fantastic in terms of just bringing your mental health back to where you want it to be.
Back to life.
All the podcasts are. They're all like just 10-minute little, that you can take in during a break, or you could, nip to the toilet or whatever, put your headphones on and just escape for a little bit. And it definitely, I did that this week, and it made me feel a lot better about just how much things were like getting on top of me. I had loads of stuff to do, and then when I listened to that, it sort of brought me back to the room, and sort of made me channel that energy a bit better. So that is a great podcast that I'd recommend as well.
Fantastic. I'm just going to share this screen with you guys, and I think it's quite it's worth sharing. At the flood of walruses that we have. Welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show, family. Hi, walrus. That's a great gift.
It's a good one.
This might be the best gift. We'll see. Welcome to the family.
Oh god!
There's no explanation there either.
No, I just put at writing show. Just left it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's go on and check out her. 38. So she was on 25. So she's gone up a fair amount. How do we see what she's? I don't know. We can't see those. Strange. Anyway, they're very funny, and that's fantastic. So last thing to speak about. If you've got any more questions, quickly send them in. And then we're going to wrap it very soon. But one thing we need to talk about, Catherine, is the very important Halloween party on the 30th of October.
Oh, awesome.
It is. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fancy dress in relation to some sort of thing in your book, whether it's a character or something book related. If you can't do that, then just do something. And there's going to be lots of drinking games. Mr. Hooley's going to be in his loft with the lights out.
I'm not going to lie. Before, when Catherine was talking about her door opening in her kitchen, I was getting scared that I was in the loft by myself. So I'm not looking forward to Halloween, because there's going to be a lot of creepy stories and a lot of like...
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I should imagine like my light's just going to go off or something like on Halloween, and I'll just be able to oh.
Well, just so you know that I've been working on the soundboard for that night specifically. However, we may need to work something out because you were echoing with the soundboard open earlier. So we'll look into it, Chris, but I will try my best to make a comfortable evening for you up there.
So Catherine, could you dress as a Halloween character for one of your characters? Like, would one fit?
With a bit of imagination, yeah.
Nice.
If you had to dress up as a character from your novel, who would it be?
Oh God. I'd probably Jack. Old Jack. That's all I'm saying.
Nice. In my novel, I'm going to go with the bowler hat man.
Oh, nice. Simple.
Oh, that's
It's the suit and bowler hat. I like it, Chris. I like it.
He's really sinister. You'd know if you'd read it, Agate. It's only been 8 months.
6. Do you know what? I've talking about reading, and this is no detriment to Halo's book at all. I try to read one of hers. She's got like diary entries. I try to read one a night or two a night, one of each character. And this week I've been very tired, and I've managed to read like one and then fall asleep. And it's just because I'm reading it in bed, and it's I need to spend. Maybe I should have those 2 extra hours a day and just read, like you said.
See, I'm switching at the moment because I've got Halo and the last Prince on my Kindle, already downloaded, ready to go. But like I said before, I'm just trying to get through Adjustment Day by Chuck Palahniuk, and then I can get on them. And now I've obviously got Catherine's on there because she's really interested me with her, and I'm going to download that and get that on the Kindle. So my list is ever growing, but I'll get there. I'll get through it definitely.
Catherine, how big is your to read list?
On mine?
Yeah.
Oh dear God. I wouldn't like to say. I've got 3 books downstairs on the go, 2 that I take up to bed with me, and then 1 that I have in the shed. So that's what I'm currently reading. And then I've just had to, you can't see it, but I've just had to rearrange my entire bookcase because I went on a bit of a spending spree. And
nice.
I've got loads more now.
What's your have you got a favourite book?
Favourite book of all time ever? Yes, but it's really random. It's Forever Amber by Kathleen Winsor. It's a really old book. It's historical fiction, which is what I read when I'm not writing crime. That would be my favourite one. But then anything I'll buy Stephen King.
Nice. Fellow Stephen King, constant reader.
Yeah, so much of his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've recently changed from reading paperback and hardback books. Like that was all I would ever read. Then I bought a Kindle and I became a bit obsessed with it. I was like, oh, it's really light. I don't have to worry about like carrying massive books around with me. Yeah. And now I literally just use my phone. So because it's so quick and easy.
Yeah.
Because, getting your Kindle or getting a book or something like that. Now I can be on a break or whatever, or it could be, waiting for someone and I can read on my phone, and that's kind of what I've been doing. But I'm quite pedantic with it. I'm like, I've got that Adjustment Day and I won't read anything else until I finished it. And then I won't put anything else on my phone until I'm ready to read it. So.
Oh, wow. No, I've always got to have a library. I've got to have like a stack of books ready to go when I finish that. Because I'm like you, I can read really quickly. I can go through 3 or 4 books in a week.
Yeah.
On my Kindle. For some reason, I'm slower in paperback or hardback. I don't know why.
Yeah. Do you think you find yourself skim reading a little bit on a Kindle?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I agree with you completely there in terms of like when you get a paperback book or whatever, you find yourself absorbed or something.
Yeah.
Whereas with Kindle, you get the same experience.
It's such a tactile thing, isn't it? Holding a book and reading it, and just I don't know. I think I appreciate the writing more when it's in a book, when it's in paperback, than when it's on Kindles. That sounds stupid, but I don't know. I just don't know. I'll read on my Kindle on a night when I'm falling asleep, but other than that, it's always paperback or hardback.
Can we just appreciate Halo's? She spends way too much on books and booze. we know this. Can we just appreciate her Jurassic Park Nick Cage T-Rex chasing after Jeff Goldblum there? Yeah, that is fantastic. Every week has got a new cage. And speaking of the cage, this week I tweeted her saying, "What film am I watching?" And she couldn't tell me. Now, anyone know what from this film this is?
It's either Face Off or it's the one where he's in an aeroplane.
Oh, it's neither of those things.
Don't know.
I guess it's around that era. So it's an old Nick Cage film. If someone gives me the answers to that on this show tonight, before we finish,
old one,
very shortly, without. Oh, you can cheat, I guess.
So it's not.
I'll buy an ebook of the person who gets this right first.
It's not. What's it called?
National Treasure. Have failed.
It's not National Treasure, is it?
It is not National Treasure. And this is a film that I rewatched because when I was younger, I watched this and I really enjoyed it. And for some reason, I thought I heard a song that was on the film, and I thought I need to watch this again. So,
it's not a very flattering picture of Nick Cage.
Well, do you know what? I took the photo of that during that specific image, that screen, just because it was a bit unusual. So it may be more
you
difficult.
Purposely tried to obscure it for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Touche.
It is not Raising Arizona. Hello, Lally.
Is that one where it's something to do with a lottery ticket or winning the lottery?
No.
Don't know them.
No one knows this film. It's actually quite good, I think. Or maybe I'm just very cheesy. Anyhow.
So give us a clue. Is it a romance film?
He's not a lawyer, Dave Middleton. He could give some advice. It's not Leaving Las Vegas. It's way before that. And that was Johnny Depp, wasn't it?
No, he was the thingy in Las Vegas.
Was he? Was in that film? Give us a hint. Catherine, have you got any favourite films that kind of influence you for writing? Or do any films or TV influence you for writing?
Yeah, you mentioned Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And I watched that endlessly. And I like any kind of psychological thrillers, really. Anything that keeps me guessing, that has a massive twist. I'm a massive fan of plot twists.
Did you watch the new Hannibal series, Catherine?
We have a winner.
Did I watch? Sorry, Chris.
Anya, sorry. We have to announce the winner. So the
winner.
City of Angels.
Oh, God, yeah. God, that's
Anya Faville.
Honestly, there's a massive spider in my... honestly, it's huge. It's like the size of my phone. I've just seen it running
Anya,
along
I'll buy your book, Anya. I've got it already, but I'll buy you whatever next one.
Running along my Christmas tree. Now, I'm not afraid of spiders, so it doesn't bother me, but that is pretty big.
I'm sorry, did you say your Christmas tree?
Yeah, of course I've got my Christmas tree in my loft. Where else am I going to put it?
That's a good point.
Ooh. That is a huge spider, though. Big ass spider. Yes, I said, did you see the new Hannibal series that they did?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Didn't rate it, really. I think it went a little bit off-piste. Didn't enjoy it.
I loved him as Hannibal Lecter. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was a brilliant cast, but I agree with you. It did go a bit crazy. My mother would be so disappointed.
Halo said, "Domesticate the spider and call it Charles." Fantastic.
Yeah. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Charles. It's the best comment of the night. Halo, thank you. So we're gonna have to wrap up. We've been an hour and 20 minutes. It's kind of gone over, but we've been having a very good time with Catherine, as you can tell. So
and Charles.
And Charles.
I think they have. There's been some good engagement on the chat, but it seems to be perhaps a bit alcohol for you tonight. And some definitely some random comments coming in. But this is what we're all about, is changing the vibe of the week and trying to make things a bit more fun.
Oh, thank you.
And they say, we love Catherine. And you rock, Catherine and Charles.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, you've got to collect Charles and have him ready for Halloween.
I can't do that to him. I mean, he's got free reign in his bachelor pad up here, so
Well, yeah,
can't put him in a glass or something.
You alcohol us innocent? Don't think so. Catherine, do you think that Mr. Hooley needs to jazz up his brick wall behind him?
No, I think it was perfect. Unless you can do it for Halloween and you do some actual like cobwebs and things on the back of it.
I'll chat to Charles and see what he says.
Yeah, I think you'd be up for it.
You can get him some work.
Yeah, I'll I mean, times are tough with COVID and everything, but I'm sure he'll come up with a bit of a bargain so he can.
He might be wanting to, he might be on what's it called, furlough, so you might need some work. Pimp out the brick. Charles will help. Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. Okay. Right. Thank you, Catherine, so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you.
And
but before you go, Catherine, tell us where we can buy your book.
All right, guys.
Tell us your web address as well. I mean, I know Agat's pretty good at putting those at the bottom. But tell us.
So, website is catherineyaffe.co.uk. Thank you.
Sorry, interrupted again.
If you can follow me on Twitter, actually, it's at Catherine Yaffe. I think I'm just under 500 followers, so a little boost there would be amazing. I'm on Instagram at cat_Yaffe_author, and I'm also over on Facebook as Catherine Yaffe author. You can buy The Lie She Told on Amazon, It's also on Kindle Unlimited, and it's just today being made available on Apple Books and in Google Play. So if it's $1.99 on Kindle, free on Kindle Unlimited, and
bargain.
$6.99. If you want a signed copy, let me know.
So if you send us that information, Catherine, we'll put it on the show notes and we'll tweet it out for you. And again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic.
Perfect. No problem. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Take care, everyone. Thanks for being nice.
We'll see you on Friday. Guest to be announced this week at some point, even though it's Wednesday. But thank you so much for tuning in, as always. And be sure to check out the books. Support the authors that support us, as always. And we'll see you.
Charles, come here. Charles. Do you know what? He was coming towards me then, and I thought I was going to be able to do that at the end. But he's disappeared. But bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. I gotta find the things.